welcome to the weekend edition. I'm Dr. Kingori. Now, the recent findings of the survey by Ipsos from the first quarter of this year indicate that 71% of Kenyans feel the country is headed in the wrong direction. Of course, we are headed in the wrong direction. How could we be headed in the right direction if this is one of the motions moved in the 11th Parliament?
And I can tell you for sure, as they were pulling my dress up and I pulled down, pulling it up. So when we were going through this motion of pulling up and down, I said, hey, why am I trying to hide my nakedness? When I pulled up and I told them, what is it you are looking for? They walked away.
Now, this is very sad. I do not even have a joke for that. No one should make fun of such a serious matter. However, the one person who was supposed to take this most seriously was the first one to make jokes.
I wish they had included the issue of sexual violence before the House, which is never treated very seriously. When somebody undresses me in this House, that is sexual violence, Mr. Speaker. You don't touch my panty. You are not Mr. Mabona. That is sexual violence.
Did you say P.O. box? Is it undressed or addressed?
Really? If the Honorable Speaker honestly did not have an idea of what Honorable Millie Odhiambo was talking about, then he must be the one who tweeted for the KWS service, calling a rhino a hippo. KWS knew what they were doing. I guess they were just being hypocritical. But now, that's not the only indicator that we are headed in the wrong direction as a country. On the closing day of the 11th Parliament, Kenyans were treated to this bit of information.
And there's no member here who cannot say that either he has not eaten anything on that line. So all of us, I think, we need to be honest.
How much have you received yourself?
Yeah, sometimes, yes, 100, they give at least 100,000 to each member.
Now, a member of parliament admits to taking a bribe, and instead of people getting angry that their representatives take bribes, people were so mad that he admitted that he took a bribe. Most relatable scenario, pale nyumbani, naambiwa, najua umeramba sukari. Na nataka uniambie ukweli, si ndio? Ati nakubali. Unachapwa not because umelamba sukari, but sababu umekubali. Ukikubali ukiamba sukari sahihi na unataka kuniambia unataka kukua mheshimiwa. How will you become a politician if ukikula sukari unakubali na ukikula mali ya umma? Let's try that again. Umelamba sukari na uniambie ukweli. Hapana, good. Good boy. Now you are Honorable Mukundi. Now, that's exactly what Honorable Waluke did. However, we could be mad at the honorable member, but then he threw in this clever line.
Even you, can you refuse money? No, there's nobody who can refuse money. Maybe God. It's only God who can refuse money.
This was a closing day of the 11th Parliament, but you didn't even spill the beans like that in a high school closing day. I always sneak out on Wednesdays to go buy avocados. Na hakuna mwanafunzi hapa anaweza sema hajawahi hepa shule akanunua avocado. Hata wewe mwalimu, look at me in the eye. Na uniambie kama unakulanga githeri kavu. You can do that. And this for me was the final evidence that I needed to confirm that the country is headed in the wrong direction.
My fellow colleagues, when they asked for me to give them 56 million before they support me, I said, no, maybe you wait until we are paid. And when I did not give them money, I only gave them 5 million shillings.
That's how normal bribing has become in this country. Taking a bribe has become, it's a thing you do. It's Nico. Now, we have people waiting for a bribe at the end of the month. Ati babe, Naivasha tunaenda, kuna kahongo tu kakiingia hivi. Kakicheck, sisi yao Naivasha, Sema hongo, baby. But that's just a fraction of the possible reasons why 71% of Kenyans feel that the country is headed in the wrong direction. There's this too. After that incident, I had the president prayed for the country. Now, Joshua got twerked on. I wonder what the president would have done if he found himself in that position.
ashindwe na shetani.
Now, according to the Ipsos survey, 71% of Kenyans feel that the country is headed in the wrong direction, but more than 40% of them say they will vote back the current government. Confusing, right? But then again, how many times have you been in a matatu, umetoka Umoja, you're going to town, but the route your driver has taken ni ya kuenda Rongai, but una maintain because you assume mnahepa jam. Town mtafika tu. So basically, as a country, we are headed in the wrong direction, but tuna maintain ni jam tunahepa. But that's just one of the findings of the report. And opinion polls make the subject of our show tonight. There were so many controversial findings in the Ipsos survey from the first quarter of this year. And this point by Honorable Sabina Chege, while appearing on Press Pass, caught my attention.
Looking at the time that this sample was taken in, you know, we had the difficult moment because of the UNGA story, and so the level of dissatisfaction was higher than now that the UNGA has come.
So basically, the leaders we elect to lead us in every 5 years could depend on the mood of the country during the election day. John Motudho was allegedly locked out of parliament by his constituents in the last election for his hard stance on illicit brews. So last election, wale Naivasha walitoa lock. There's also an argument that the opposition has gained numbers over the government following the UNGA crisis. So if food is a determining factor in these elections, then we clearly do not vote on policy. We vote individuals. Now, the science of opinion polls is quite complicated, but I will tackle it as a layman, starting with the phrasing of the opinion poll questions.
These kind of questions out in the field, is it difficult to ask these questions? And is it easy for the respondents to understand the question? As opposed to a straight question is, who will you vote for? When you talk about confidence and levels of confidence, are the people going to be really clear what they're answering?
That's a very valid question. Kenyans love simple questions, and musicians do it best. Look at the opinion polls in some of the greatest hits in the Kenyan music industry. Kenyan hits, they are based on simple questions. Tuendelee ama tusiendelee? Simple. Kati ya Man U na Arsenali. Gani kali kati ya Man U na Arsenali? Simple. Kwani jana kuliendaje, eh? Inaweza iwezi? Kenyans love simple questions. Ama namna gani? Exactly. And here's the relationship between Kenyans and complicated questions or questions they do not understand. They will be answered.
What I'm going to do is ask these Kenyans, wengi, there are so many, ask them random questions about things that didn't happen. I'm waiting to see wale wao. Kuna news jana, uliona ya ukienda Uganda, unatumia the same currency. Unaona? So kwa hii picha ya Kenyatta, watatoa weke ya Uhuru, Museveni, nani, Kikwete. So you watch that, yeah? Yeah. So what's your views on that? I think it's a good thing. All one jana?
Yeah, niliona. Lakini kulingana na mimi, naona kama it's not a good thing.
Kenyans are lying. That probably explains why you have cases of politicians leading in the opinion polls, alafu wakati wa kupiga kura wanaona Koigi Wamwere. No disrespect to Honorable Koigi Wamwere, just the votes he gets. Unajua kura zote za Koigi Wamwere zinatosha kwa high five. So the returning officer akifanya hivi, hizo ni kura zote za mheshimiwa. That's not true. That's just an opinion, though. Maybe that's what happened in the Kiambu nominations.
You're facing a strong challenge from Kabete MP Ferdinand Waititu.
Why do you determine it's strong?
He is a front runner, according to the opinion polls.
That is what opinion poll, my friend. Opinion polls were done twice last month.
Right.
And I came out at 52, the first one, 53, the next one. Government has been doing polls every week.
Right.
And I've still risen from, 46 all the way to 51. So what would have happened today? Those polls are fake polls.
We all know what happened. Aliona Koigi Wamwere. According to the opinion polls, he was ahead. Then he lost in the nominations by over 283,000 votes, which introduces another avenue for confusion. The opinion polls are only correct if the politician is leading. Some politicians do not even care what the polls say at first. In 2005, Kalonzo Musyoka was leading in the opinion polls as the most preferred candidate. Can you believe that? Kalonzo has ever been leading in the polls. At first, Honorable Raila Odinga was okay with that because he was eyeing the prime minister's position. In fact, he defended the pollsters from attacks by the supporters of the then president, Honorable Mwai Kibaki. He later announced his presidential bid, then the story changed. He said Kalonzo was leading because he is handsome. As in, Baba said he thought the polls were in the order from the most handsome candidate to Kienda Chini. In which case, President Kibaki could not have led. Now, so in terms of looks, the NASA running mate, the running mate in NASA rather is Will Smith. Alafu the presidential candidate is Mr. Ibu. So, if NASA wins these coming elections, it will be accurate to say Raila ame ibuka mshindi. Now, the interesting thing I have learned about polls is that politicians blast the polls in public and then they contract the same pollsters to conduct surveys for them in private. Very many people ask why they have never been called to give an opinion on the polls, and here's why. A typical Ipsos survey takes a sample of around 1,000 to 2,000 people to give their opinion in which is supposed to reflect the feel of 14 million voters. So the chance of you getting a call, I saw in the Ipsos site, is that it's 1 to 40,000. That's like waiting for Willie Paul to do a gospel song. It's possible, but it may take a while. Or that's like waiting for Mark Masai to grow hair. It's possible, but it may take forever. As for politicians who get discouraged by this small performance in the polls, I think you should start looking at the glass as either an eighth full rather than 7/8 empty. When you are 2% popular, take heart. Jiambie 2 down, 98 more to go. In fact, here's a take-home point. Only 97% of Kenyans know that President Uhuru is running for president. Our 3% in Yakinanani will find that in a bit. One man who has been on the receiving end for giving poll results from either side is none other than Dr. Tom Wolf from Ipsos. He's with us shortly, right after the break, to help us break this down even further. See you after the break. Welcome back to the Weekend Edition. I'm Dr. Kingori. Our subject on the show tonight is opinion polls, and our guest is the best to speak about this subject, Tom Wolf from the Ipsos Synovate. Tom Wolf, karibu sana kwa show.
But I have to correct you.
Yes.
I might not be the best,
yes,
because in the world of opinion research,
yes,
every opinion is equal.
Yes.
And I have colleagues in some other firms.
Yes.
Some colleagues I used to work with who are now doing other survey work. So I might be equal to them, but I wouldn't say I'm better than they are.
So you've done a survey on yourself. What percent do you give yourself?
No comment. Okay. Every day I'm learning something new.
Wow,
I realize there are more things I don't know about. But I guess my parents were both teachers, and they always said life is a learning experience. So don't think when you finish school, that's the end of learning. Yes. School should give you equipment to keep learning. And that's why I also like the questions you've been asking me the last couple of days, but I won't repeat them on air.
Thank you. First of all, that's humility, learning something every day and every time, and then to accept that wewe ni mpumbavu in the end. That's that's classic humility. One of the ways, I'm sure this is a question very many people ask, one of the ways you guys make your money is through sponsored questions, right?
True. They do. We do make money that way.
So I can come to you with a question
and
to ask
money,
people if they like me, and I come with money.
It costs you about 60,000 shillings per
question.
Yeah?
Okay. Then
we'll be happy to take
if I find out that I'm 2% popular and I want my money back.
Hakuna kitu kama hicho.
Kwa nini?
Hakuna kurushiwa pesa, ukilipa pesa ni zetu bwana pole.
Utakula
hasara tu lakini si utapata maarifa.
Every question is 60,000
No,
shillings.
if it's a multi-grid, then that's 70,000 because it's a multiple question.
Just to be clear, how much am I paying after this interview for all the questions I'm asking?
Hey!
On a serious note, I need to know my
Utabeba gunia kama huyu Kafura, sijui anaitwa. That was an accusation, hasn't been proved in court. So
yes. And the clashing feedback you get from politicians, does that affect your next poll or survey or the findings of the next research you're doing?
End of last year, there was the most noise. Even people in ODM were demanding that Wolf should be deported and so on. There was all these things on social media that the president had sent 10 million shillings to my KCB account. In fact, I had to call the president and say,
That's
Bonnie,
very-
you've only sent 9 million. Where's the last 10
You
million?
called
because
the
there was
president.
Pardon me? No,
You
no,
called
I'm
the
just
president.
joking. There was nothing
Oh,
like
oh.
that. There was nothing like that.
That's
but
very-
you'll notice that the last time we asked that question was in January, because in May he had already
Yes.
been nominated.
Yes, yes,
and
yes.
in January, the percentage of Kenyans who wanted him to compete had increased from about 35% last year to nearly 50% this time. So the ODM people went quiet.
Yes.
They just went quiet.
And I think it's unfair when people start calling for your deportation and we still have Calligraph around who has not been deported. And also, in the context of Kenya going in the wrong direction, since 2014, polls have always given the result that Kenya is going in the wrong direction. In your own opinion, why haven't we arrived in the wrong destination?
It's not, well, two answers. Number one, it's not for me to judge
Yes.
where Kenya sits at the moment.
Yes.
And, you know, some people, as you were saying before,
Yes.
will see a glass half empty, others as half full.
Okay.
I mean, if you think of it, someone who is herding camels in Lokitong, in Turkana, near the border with Sudan,
Yes.
South Sudan,
Yes.
is probably going to have a quite different view of the country's direction than, say, a fisherman off the south coast of Kenya.
Do you observe this level of accuracy even at home? Like when cooking. Do you cook ugali?
I cook lots
You
of
cook
different
ugali?
foods, yes.
So you say 70% water and 30%?
No, with me, it's more like 70% of the time that I cook, the food is suitable for human consumption. The other 30% I have to give up and go out to a hotel.
So in Tanzania is where you learned Swahili?
No, I started learning my first 3 years because I was at the coast. And, but I'd failed French in secondary school. And even first year at university, I barely passed with a D minus. I think there was some governor who was accused of passing with a D minus.
That's nothing to be ashamed
So-
of. A D minus.
With a D minus in French.
A D minus in this country is nothing to be
I was
ashamed of.
absolutely certain that I could never learn any other language, especially an African language.
Yes.
But people were very, very friendly. And so I learned enough Swahili. I've been a Swahili teacher in 5 countries.
You've been
And
a
I
Swahili
also-
teacher?
And I also learned the local language as well, so which is another coastal language. So, but I never went back to French.
If you learn Swahili, why are you doing the interview in English?
Mimi
Tell us
kupenda
about your
kwako-
book in Kiswahili.
kupenda kwako, lakini-
Tuambie kuhusu hii kitabu yako ya Kenya's Past as a Prologue.
Oh, this one.
Yes. This one right here.
Yeah. Kilichapishwa
Kenya-
mwaka juzi kuhusu mambo yote kuhusika na
prologue.
uchaguzi wa 2013.
Prologue na Kiswahili ni nini? kwanza?
Lakini mpaka utoe pesa huwezi kutaja yaliomo bwana.
Mpaka
Ni
yali-
serious,
ndio
mpaka
ndani.
leta unga.
Hakuna unga kwa duka.
Lakini kuna kwa mfuko wako naona hata inatiririka hivi.
Wewe.
Anyway.
Wewe ni Tom Wolf ama ni Tom Njoroge?
But only in this book there are about 15 contributors. Mine is only one chapter.
You've never been bribed or approached by politicians to influence the polls in their favor?
Well, you know, how many
Yes,
how
that's
many
a good
hotels
answer.
do I own in
Now-
Kenya? I mean, I can't tell you, but no. I think
That was not a strong no.
everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Where do you place that no? That you've never received a bribe? It's not a very strong no. It's a
No, I think
no.
people who know me know the answer to that question. So there's no need, because even if I'd taken bribes, I wouldn't confess to you, would I? So
So
you
we'll
just have
never
to
know.
judge me by my track record, and I'll stand on that.
Asante sana. Wapi makofi ya Tom Wolf? Now, that's it for the weekend edition. See you next week. My name is Dr. Kingori.
Thank you.